Hello, my name is Rosina Bakari. I teach at Des Moines Area Community College. As an instructor of human sexuality, I'd like to share with you some important information about sexual consent. There are two reasons why the following information is important to you. First, having a complete understanding about consent prevents you from unintentionally harming another person. This basically means that it's a human rights issue, which is the second reason it is so important. As a human rights issue, the law can prosecute individuals that do not follow rules of consent. You can protect yourself by always checking to make sure you are following the rules once you know the rules. But whether you know the rules or not, you are subject to prosecution if you break the rules. So it's best to know the rules. If you follow these 4 rules of consent, you will avoid harming others and avoid finding yourself in legal matters with criminal charges. On the other hand, you are likely to create positive, intimate relationships with partners that is fulfilling. So let's talk about the rules of consent. Rule number 1, you must make sure that the person you are with is able to offer consent. The person must be of mature and sound mind to make critical decisions. So there are categories of people who should never be approached as partners on this basis. This includes people under the age of 16 in Iowa, persons under distress, and persons who are heavily under the influence of drugs. Iowa law states that the age of consent is 16, which means that a person under age 16 who engages in sexual acts, then the person who is engaging in the act with them could face criminal charges. Not even a parent can give a child legal permission to have sex with someone. So just remember that you are responsible for knowing the age of your partner and abiding by the legal age of consent. Also, someone who is not in a normal state of mind cannot offer consent. A person who is too intoxicated to drive legally cannot offer consent. That's right, drunk sex is actually illegal, and you put yourself at great risk if you do this, particularly if you are engaging with a partner for the first time. This rule also covers people who are emotionally distressed. For example, if a friend comes to you in a state of grief or trauma, meaning that they are in a particularly vulnerable state of mind, they cannot offer consent because they are not in their normal state of mind. Rule number 2, you should have consent to physically flirt with someone for the first time. Just because someone agreed to ride in a car with you doesn't mean that it is okay for you to reach over and grab their hand or feel their leg or touch them in any way. It doesn't matter how much you spend on a date, there is no obligation for anyone to kiss you goodnight. Buying someone a drink at the bar is not payment to invade a person's personal space by putting your hand around their shoulder. You must use your words to get things started. Do you mind if I put my arm around you? Would you like to hold my hand? Is it okay if I kiss you goodnight? Use your verbal language, not just your nonverbal language. Moving toward intimacy should not be ambiguous. You're not planning an attack, you are inviting someone into an intimate space. True, some people may not be used to hearing these questions, but this is the type of interaction that will protect both you and your partner. Like wearing a seatbelt, better safe than sorry. Besides, if you ask permission at this level, then seeking consent as things move forward will be even less awkward. Rule number 3, consent must be maintained throughout the intimate contact, because a partner has the right to withdraw consent at any time. No intimate act has to be carried out for any longer than what both parties agree to or is comfortable with. Any signs of discomfort, verbal or nonverbal, must immediately result in disengagement. You must stop. This includes crying, non-responsiveness from a partner, meaning no movement or sound coming from the partner, physically moving away or pushing you away, as well as any verbal requests to stop. Remember that physical intimacy is a partnering situation. When a partner is no longer interested, the partnering is over, so the contact should end. That also means that there is no blanket of consent. You can't assume that someone is going to have sex with you just because they are engaging in other intimate acts. One intimate act is not consent for another intimate act. Each act must receive consent. You must request a verbal yes. Anything less than a verbal yes, I do, is definitely okay, or more please, should be taken as a no. This is the only way to legally protect yourself and emotionally protect your partner, which is so much more important than any sexual gratification you had in mind. Now, this may feel a bit awkward at first, but just think about this. If asking for permission to touch someone is awkward, how much more awkward would it be to have a police officer asking you questions about how you touch someone? How much more awkward would it be to have a person not speak to you ever again after you have been intimate with them? Or how much more awkward is it to have your reputation ruined by the things a person says about your bedside manner? Silence is not sexy. Silence is dangerous. A responsive yes. Now that's sexy. Rule number 4. Consideration for protection against unwanted disease or pregnancy must be allowed and agreed upon. Once consent for sexual contact is shared, there should be decision-making about the use of protection, even if the decision is to not use any at all. Absence of such a discussion may be a sign that the person is feeling coerced rather than consenting. Since coerced sex is illegal, safe sex is safer sex. Consent must be offered, not manipulated or pressured. Consent must be given without any threat of repercussion. For example, if you threaten to end a relationship with someone if they don't have sex with you, then you have just taken away the person's ability to offer consent. If you withhold a life valuable such as money or children or housing from someone in order to obtain sex, you have taken away the person's ability to offer consent. No yes is meaningful unless there is a full and complete option to say no without imposed consequences. So to fully protect your partner and yourself, physically intimate encounters should occur with verbal permission with someone at least 16 years of age in a sound state of mind and with agreed upon protection. For more information on sexual consent and the sexual experience, you can enroll in DMAC's Human Sexuality course that is offered each semester. The Psychology 261 course is offered during the day and during the evening for students' convenience. If you have experienced sex that was not consensual and would like to speak with someone about it, contact DMAC's Counseling Center at 964-6200. Thank you.
That's good.